Buddhism originated with an Indian prince known as the Buddha, who taught in northeast India in the 5th century BC. 2 centuries later, with the support of the Emperor Ashoka, Buddhism spread over a greater part of India and from there traveled the full breadth of the Asian continent. In several tidal waves of missionary zeal, it rose up from its Indian homeland and inundated other regions, offering the peoples among whom it took root a solid foundation of faith and wisdom upon which to build their lives and a source of inspiration towards which to direct their hopes. At different points in history, Buddhism has commanded followings in countries as diverse geographically, ethnically, and culturally as Afghanistan and Japan, Siberia and Cambodia, Korea and Sri Lanka, yet all have looked towards the same Indian sage as their master. Though for historical reasons, Buddhism eventually disappeared from India by about the 12th century, before it vanished, it had profoundly transformed Hinduism. In our own time, Indian thinkers as different as Swami Vivekananda, Tagore, Gandhi, and Nehru have looked upon the Buddha as a model. In the 20th century too, while Buddhism has lost much of its following in the East, it has begun to have a growing impact on an increasing number of people in the West, and in its own quiet way, it is sending down firm roots in several countries of the Western Hemisphere. In the course of its long history, Buddhism has assumed a wide variety of forms. Because of its peaceful, non-dogmatic character, it has always adapted easily to the pre-existent cultures and religious practices of the people among whom it has spread, becoming in turn the fountainhead of a new culture and worldview. So successful has Buddhism been in integrating itself with the country's indigenous culture that it is often difficult for us to discern the common thread that binds the different forms of Buddhism together as branches of the same religion. The outer surfaces differ so greatly, from the gentle, ceremonial Theravada Buddhism of Sri Lanka and Southeast Asia, to the contemplative and devotional practices of Far Eastern Mahayana Buddhism, to the mysterious ritualism of Tibetan Vajrayana Buddhism. Yet, though the outer faces of these Buddhist schools may differ drastically, they all remain rooted in a common source, the life and teaching of the man known to us as the Buddha. Surprisingly, though the Buddha stands so far back from us in time, further back than all the later teachers who rose to eminence in the river of Buddhist history, it is still his voice that speaks to us most directly, in language we can immediately understand, in words, images, and ideas to which we can immediately respond. If we place side by side the texts of the Chandogya Upanishad and the Buddha's discourse on the Four Noble Truths, which is separated in time by perhaps only 100 years, the former seems to come from a cultural and spiritual milieu so remote we can hardly comprehend it, while the latter sounds almost as if it had been spoken last week in Bombay, London, or New York. In attitude and perspective, the Buddha comes so close to us, it is hard to believe that he is separated from us by a gulf of some 2,500 years. That the Buddha's teaching should remain perennially relevant throughout the changing eras of human history, that his message should be undimmed by the sheer passage of time, is already implicit in the title by which he is most commonly known. For the word Buddha, as is widely known, is not a proper name, but an honorific title, meaning the enlightened one, the awakened one. This title is given to him because he has woken up from the deep sleep of ignorance in which the rest of the world is absorbed, because he has penetrated the deepest truths of the human condition, and because he proclaims those truths with the aim of awakening others and enabling them to share his realization. Despite the shifting scenarios of history over 25 centuries, despite the change in worldviews and modes of thought from one epoch to the next, the basic truths of human life do not change. They remain constant and are recognizable to those mature enough to reflect on them and intelligent enough to understand them. For this reason, even today, in our age of jet travel, computer technology, and genetic engineering, it is perfectly fitting that the one who has awakened should speak to us in words that are just as powerful, just as cogent, just as illuminating as they were when they were first proclaimed long ago in the towns and villages of northeast India.